The bottom line of the game still is you tee the ball up and you try to get the ball in the hole in the fewest strokes as possible. That hasn't changed. It didn't change from 1860 when the first Open Championship was played at the 12-hole golf course at Prestwick. It's still the same game.
This is the 58th occasion upon which this cup has been played for.
With a score of 273,
268, 276,
an aggregate of 285.
The winner, the gold medal,
and the champion golfer
of the year.
I am fortunate to have had the game of golf take me all over the world. As a storyteller of the game, I feel a responsibility to share my perspective along the way. This game's history is rooted in tradition and competition, and today I return to the home of all of that and the home of golf, Scotland. I'm not here for any one particular golf course, but rather a group of golf courses and what unites them. I'm here to learn more about the Open Championship and its humble beginnings many, many years ago. The journey starts for me at Prestwick Golf Club in Scotland's Ayrshire region, when the prize went from a red championship belt to the now iconic claret jug. I sat down with Ken Goodwin, secretary at Prestwick, to learn more about the birth of the Open Championship.
I feel like that's a very valuable book.
It's pretty valuable. It's got all the original Open scorecards in it.
The Open was first played in 1860 as an event that would run alongside the members' own competition. The committee wrote letters to golf clubs, and a notice appeared in the national press asking for professional golfers to compete for the Challenge belt. The following year, the tournament was opened up to amateurs as well as professionals and attracted the leading players of the day.
The best golfer of the time was Alan Robertson from St Andrews. Morris had worked for him briefly as a feathery ball maker, but they'd fallen out over Morris's use of the gutty percha ball. Robertson was the first man to break 80 around the old course at St Andrews. It's said that he never lost a money match playing on his own, and he was known as the champion golfer of Scotland. And he died in 1859, so the big question then is, who's the champion golfer now? And the members here thought, after our autumn meeting, where all the members come and play an event, we'll have a match the following day. We'll invite the best caddies of the time to come and play. And that's how the Open came about, to find out who was the new champion. In 1868, young Tom won the Open, aged 17.
17.
He's still the youngest winner of a major golfing championship. So Dad wins it one year, aged 46. Son wins it the next year. Youngest winner of a major. Quite a unique achievement that Dad wins the Open one year, son wins it the next year.
Old Tom was a normal man from humble beginnings, a caddy, a golf ball maker, and an ambassador of the modern game. You can find Old Tom's grave at the eastern wall of the churchyard at St. Andrew's Cathedral, right near a monument for his son that reads Tommy. Young Tom Morris was well liked by spectators, and he drew crowds from all over Scotland to watch him play. Right next to the old course is a museum with artifacts from Scotland's golf history. My tour guide Hannah took me to a back room where the most valuable items are stored. History has favored the story of Old Tom and what he brought to the game, but I'm learning that perhaps Alan Robertson, without even knowing it, may have played an even bigger role in the starting of the Open Championship. During the time leading up to the origin of the Open Championship, Robertson's skill was unmatched. And when he died, no one knew who the best golfer was. So a contest was developed to decide the name of the champion golfer of the year. And so the Open was born as a way to find the new champion, and perhaps as a memorial to Alan Robertson himself. So that's the first Open, 160 years ago, an entertaining event with the best players in the land playing for a small group's enjoyment. What's happened over the last century and a half? Well, the world was a much different place then. Life expectancy was less than half of what it is now. There was no such thing as a car, and people traveled by train or horse to the golf course. The automobile would be invented in 1886, and just 8 years later, John Taylor would win his first Open Championship. By 1935, the Open had been going on for 75 years, and though it wasn't popular yet, the television was cutting-edge technology. Just 2 years later, Harry Vardon, who won more Open Championships than anyone, passed away in 1937. In 1949, the Open Championship was held at Royal St. George's, and Bobby Locke won his first of 4 Opens. His prize, £400, which is less than a new driver costs today. When I think back on the event, golf fandom was in its infancy. With television barely covering golf, this was a true in-person spectator sport, with crowds literally huddling around the greens and tee boxes just to get a glimpse of the action. The Open in 1949 had a 36-hole playoff, with Bobby Locke holding on to the victory. Most people had to wait for newspaper articles to come out the next day to relive the moment. What wasn't written about that year was just 3 months later, a young man was born in Kansas City who would go on to become synonymous with the world's oldest golf championship, Tom Watson. Gene Sarazen, at the age of 71, made one of the most famous aces ever during the Open at the infamous postage stamp, forever solidifying his and the hole's legacy with golfers everywhere. And it also proved that at the Open, age is just a number. More than 40 years after lifting the claret jug, Gene Sarazen was still delighting the crowds. And then, in 1975, a legend was born, who would go on to join the ranks of Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus as men who changed the sport and brought it to the masses. So here's where things start moving quickly. Golf balls and clubs begin to rapidly advance, and the game gets bigger in every way. The Tiger era was upon us. Cell phones, email, social media, streaming live broadcasts. The golf world looks nothing like it did back when the challenge belt was being handed off at Prestwick.
One final birdie. That's how you win tournaments. Isn't going to be.
A golf tournament without players would mean nothing. The things that they do on the golf course is literally the reason why we watch golf. The characters and the shots they hit are all historical moments for all of us as time goes on. The tests that they're put through, both internally and externally, lead to incredible celebrations, which I think are moments that, as fans, we all remember throughout most of our lives.
His father, who died earlier this year, his father who was such an influence on Tiger. This one is definitely for his late father.
He doesn't hold it. John Daly will be the champion. Look at this. Not much to say about that.
The Open has been home to some of the most dramatic moments in golf, from heartbreaking putts to the impossible shots made. These moments are what make the Open so fun to watch.
I think he's going for the green. I really do. He's got the wood out, and it's down breeze. It is off the left, Sam.
You're going to see some interesting pictures in your morning papers and golf magazines in the weeks and months ahead.
One of the most defining features, perhaps, of the Open Championship are the venues that it's played on. 14 of the finest links courses, 6 in England, 1 in Northern Ireland, and 7 in Scotland. The course itself becomes a bit of a celebrity. Indeed, it's the only opponent that the golfers truly face. From the road hole to the postage stamp, the player's only job is to play it as it lies and turn 3 shots into 2. Therefore, the game will always be filled with excitement and surprise. Enter stage right, Royal Troon.
So how does Royal Troon's history tie into the Open Championship history?
Well, our first Open was in 1923, when Arthur Havers won the Open. And the postage stamp, as you all know, is the shortest hole in history of the Open Championship.
During the Open in 2016 with Henrik and Phil, what was that like here for you?
For me personally, it was a fantastic event. The staff here will never forget it. Henrik standing on these stairs and the members down in the foyer singing his praises. It's just one of those weeks you will never forget. Be with me forever.
He took everything Phil Nicholson could throw at him, and on the day, he was just too good.
I'm assuming you watch the Open Championship on television these days. What do you think about? Do you think about 1977? When they bring it up on television, do you think about it? Because they must say this is known as the best tournament in our era.
Well, you know, Stinson and Mickelson had even a better tournament when they went head-to-head at Troon.
You would say better. Why?
Because they shot way under par. I mean, even more under par.
A pair of
Jack and I did.
63s versus 65s?
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe you'd say that.
Well, it's the fact.
And it's interesting to reflect as the crowd applauds that before this championship started, the odds were 33-1 against Newton, 40-1 against Tom Watson.
The one thing about an Open Championship is different than in any place else is I think the crowd reactions to shots. I think the crowds are a little bit more knowledgeable here about the difference between a good shot and a bad shot. You know, especially when you have tough conditions. When you have tough conditions, the ball just gets on the green, and they applaud. You know, they are excited that, you know, somebody hit the ball on the green here.
Be first, the old boxing adage. No, it didn't go, and that's that. The 1975 Open champion is Tom Watson.
Do you feel at home every time you show up to a golf course?
I do. Because, you know, this is where people who play the game of golf, they hang out. People who have true passion for the game. It doesn't matter what course you happen to walk on. This is the theater. You never surrender. When you stop wanting to improve and just enjoy the game, that's okay. But that's not part of my personality. I still, every time I hit a shot, I want to know why I missed it. And if I hit a good one, I enjoy the moment that I hit a good shot.
Right.
I really do. I still do. Let me tell you a story about this amphitheater, all right? You see this amphitheater here? You see the scoreboard here?
Mm-hmm.
At Turnberry in 1977, this thing was full of people. I had a one-shot lead over Jack coming in the last hole. I birdied 17. Jack, he missed about a four-foot putt for birdie to tie me. So I have a one-shot lead, and I come into the last hole, and I hit it this far from the hole with a 7-iron in the last hole. I've got a one-shot lead. And you would think, okay, you've got him now. As my caddy said, Alfie Fowles said, "You've got him now, mister." And I said, nope. He's going to make that putt because Jack almost hit it unplayable. He took a mighty swing with an 8-iron out of rough. There's a wad of grass about this much on it. Only he could do it. And the ball bounded up on the green about 30 feet from the hole. And sure enough, he made the putt. 10 feet from the hole, I knew it was dead center. And he went right in the geometric dead center of the hole. And the crowd went absolutely ballistic. I mean, it was a jet engine roar. It was 90 to 100 decibels, easy.
And what a moment to hold a putt. Oh, my word. Well, that little tap-in, or what was going to be a little tap-in, the 2 putts for it, as Watson must have thought 2 or 3 moments ago, now becomes a real ragged, nerve-ended 20-incher for the championship.
I'm waiting there. I'm waiting for the crowd to slow down. They kept on cheering. It's the mightiest cheer you've ever heard in your life. And so I said, the heck with this, I bent over and I put my ball down and picked up the coin. And as I picked up the coin like this, out of the corner of my eye, I see Jack. Jack goes like this. And only in this game of golf would this happen. That crowd went silent in 3 seconds. It was unbelievable. From a jet engine roar to absolute dead silence in 3 seconds. Now that's what the game is all about. The respect for people who play the game, the respect for playing the game the way it should be played, respect for Jack Nicklaus to say, give him his due, let him put this putt in silence, as we all should do. And I knocked the ball in, and then when it came off the green, we walked like this, and he grabbed me like this in the shoulder, and he said,
I gave you my best shot, and West wasn't good enough. You were better.
And he said, I'm proud of you. Congratulations. I'm happy for you.
Wow.
And when I walked off the green like that, I felt that maybe I can play with the big boys.
Yeah.
I can play with them. I can beat the best. And that was my goal as a kid, to be the best. And that's why I'm here today.
When it comes to the Open Championship, one thing remains the same year after year. we all gather together as fans to celebrate the champion golfer of the year.
If it was possible, you know what I'd like to do with this check? I'd like to buy you all a wee doch and Doris or a wee drum.
I play for fun. I enjoy it. Even in this tough competition, you still enjoy it? Yeah, I can think of nothing better than what's happened today.
As we approach the 150th Open, golf's original championship, I can't help but wonder what old Tom would think if he saw how far it had come. The Open is undoubtedly golf's greatest story. I, for one, can't wait to see what the future holds for this wonderful championship, its competitors, and its spectators.